So the Las Vegas Raiders, there was no tie. The Raiders win in one of the most bonkers games you will ever see. Let's just get into this relatively long film study. So let's start things off with this play. And this was listen, I said both of these teams are going to want to use their tight ends. That certainly did happen in this game. But this one a little bit different than maybe how you might expect. So this is Foster Moreau, who, again, obviously when you think of Raiders tight ends, you're thinking Darren Waller. But hey, he can play as well. And what's really fascinating about it is just this play call. So it's a 3rd down and 10. And I think that's very important to talk about when we're talking about this play. You have to push the ball down the field, and it's a cover 2 man that the Chargers are in. You're going to see a lot of 2 safety deep coverages with the Chargers. But watch how right when this play begins, so Moreau is going to start off blocking, and that, I believe what happened here is the guy who's supposed to be covering him is just sort of playing off now because he saw, okay, you're blocking. Chances are, even if you then get off this block, it's 3rd down and 10. Someone can come up and make a tackle. Let me drop back in coverage. We got to protect this 1st down marker. So therefore, for Carr, who looks downfield and sees nothing is open, this is why you want to make sure you sometimes take the check down, right? Take the easy yards, even if it's a situation like this where it's 3rd and 10. Everyone always criticizes the guy when they throw the ball for 5 yards on a 3rd down and 10, and then, they don't get the 1st down. But there's a reason why you do it, because it's better than forcing it into double coverage. As you see, Carr is going to flip it over, and they're able to not just pick up the 1st down, but I'm going to have to pause it just for copyright reasons, but they're going to pick up a ton of yards right here. So really good stuff by the Raiders. Now, this almost ended up being a disaster where the ball was, knocked out, but it goes out at the 1 yard line, which apparently that's fine and okay. But if it went out inside the end zone, then that's some bad thing, which means you lose the football. Again, dumbest rule in football. I won't get on that too much, but it is kind of silly how, oh, well, you fumbled earlier, so good job. Like, good work there. But anyways, good play by the Raiders for sure. Also, one like this that was working early on, Hunter Renfrow, he's always going to get something, right? One of the best route runners in football. What he's going to do here is it's a cover 3 zone. So the deep corner who's in charge of covering kind of the back of the end zone to the offense's left, which is towards the bottom of the screen, he's covering Renfrow. If Renfrow runs over the middle, then he's going to cover Renfrow over the middle, which is something you will often do against this type of coverage, and it's a way you can beat this coverage. So that's why you sometimes fake as though you're doing that. It makes running to the outside a lot easier. Watch how right when this play begins, you're going to see Renfrow does a good job, fakes to the inside, gets to the outside, and just gets wide open. This is just something that seems like Renfrow does this at least once a game where he just completely makes someone look foolish, and it's not really looking foolish, it's just Renfrow's good. Carr makes the throw, and they're able to get the ball into the end zone right there. So again, good stuff by, Carr hitting the open guy, and good stuff by Renfrow. Meanwhile, for the Chargers, again, Jared Cook was having a big day, which I predicted going in because he had a big day the first time, and just schematically, tight ends is a great way to beat this cover 3 zone that you're going to see the Raiders in. The reason why, you have your plus receiver, or your receiver closest to the sideline on the left side of the offense, which would be towards the top of the screen. He runs a deep route. This takes the corner out of position. Then when Cook kind of runs underneath, the only way to really counteract this and make sure he's covered is a linebacker has to then stay with him. But that can create a mismatch and can create an opening. And also, the Raiders aren't really great at picking this stuff up all the time. Like, watch, right when this play begins, you see that there is the play action, and you're going to see that Herbert makes this throw. And like I said, linebackers don't get back in time. So you're able to get some separation right here, which, I predicted it going in. Would have liked to see the Raiders maybe be a little bit more prepared for this stuff. And as you see, really good throw. They're able to get the ball inside the 40 right there. Also, this play, very big play at the time where you're down 10 points. You don't want to give them the ball back. Still not putting any points on the board. Also, the anti-analytics people, I'm sure they'll, but I've always said, if you don't like going for it on 4th downs in these situations, you don't have to like it. That's fine. We can agree to disagree on this stuff. But you have to then acknowledge that, you didn't like it this time either, and it just worked out. I like it always. I like it when it works out more because obviously that helps your team more. The way this play works anyways, sorry about that rant, going back to the play itself, it's zone coverage, and basically Herbert's going to make his reads from the inside out. So the last read he would make would be the halfback. You want to go from the middle towards the outside. And watch how right when this play begins, so you see that really the Raiders are in fine shape right here. Both just cover up, and for Herbert, what he would then have to do is hit the halfback in the flat, And then for the Raiders, all you have to do is run up and make a tackle. That's what you want to have happen. It's not the end of the world for the Chargers to hit the halfback in the flat. You know, again, Austin Eckler, very good halfback. He can pick up these yards potentially, but still, you would have obviously liked for someone to get more open. But now I need to draw your attention to 39 for Las Vegas. This is Nate Hobbs, who, listen, this is not the worst decision he's made this week, but, he's had a really good season. I have a guess on what happens here. So Casey Hayward Jr. is currently behind him, and I think Hobbs just kind of felt Hayward's presence and thought that that was another receiver for some reason, because watch how, and to be clear, this is the one that's closer to the bottom of the screen. Watch that. Look how Hobbs kind of just plays off a little bit. I don't know why you weren't playing aggressive there trying to make a play. Like, what are you doing? You know, they need to get 2 yards. Don't let them get those 2 yards. So that was a mistake, but good job by Herbert for noticing that and finding it and hitting it and getting the first down. So not the best from the Raiders, but the Chargers are just doing a good, they were doing a good job when things were working of just finding and exploiting those, weaknesses in the Raiders defense. Obviously, we got to talk about this play, which was just so huge. So, I made a whole video about the pass interference. Probably going to be a controversial take. I haven't read the comments yet that I actually don't hate the call. I kind of understood why it was called that way. But anyways, watch that video if you want more information about that. But what we also got to talk about is the whole reason that this pass interference thing happened, and they got the touchdown anyways, was because of a 3rd down and 23 situation. If the Chargers get this stop, they might even have time to march down the field and go up by more than just 4 points. They're playing very far off because it's 3rd down and 23, and the Raiders are just going to try and get some yards and then punt. Worth mentioning, because there's a 2 safety deep coverage here, might even be a 3 safety deep coverage. It looks like actually, just simply because you're playing prevent. This now means that you have guys who can block basically everybody until you get to the safeties. And watch how for Las Vegas, everyone just makes their blocks. This is really well blocked. And then the safeties do eventually come up and they don't make the tackle right away. Not to mention, I know it looks like he was tackled short, but I believe the yellow line was just misleading. So he actually was there at the first down. So really good stuff by the Raiders. Really good blocking to make that happen, but also for the Chargers. Again, you got to be a little more aggressive too. You got to come up and make a tackle. Not great stuff by them. So let's use this play as an example of kind of what went wrong a lot in the second half. It's hard to really say, it's hard to display exactly what happens, largely because, we can only see half of the field. The camera does not pan over to, the safeties and what's going on down the field, which, listen, I would love it if they offered a live all 22 feed that you can watch along with the game. Doesn't really work out that way. We're stuck with the broadcast footage. But I think this can still be a good example of kind of explaining just what was going wrong. So it's zone coverage, a cover 2 zone. The Raiders are in. It's going to be a 3rd down and 5. And watch Justin Herbert here. Look at how Herbert looks up, and basically whatever he likes down the field, again, either it's not open or it looked like maybe he had something underneath. But if he decided to make that throw, he didn't decide to make it. So this is kind of what was going wrong, basically, was for whatever reason, Herbert was not throwing the ball down the field as quickly as you would like. And I feel like 9 out of 10 times when I see this, when I go and watch all 22, it's because guys aren't getting open down the field. The reality is, and this is something part of why I picked the Raiders to win this football game, is because I had concerns about would they be able to beat these good Las Vegas corners. And they had some success at kind of over the middle stuff early on, but you see Herbert's looking deep down the field, and whatever he sees isn't open. He eventually scrambles and tries to make something happen, but that ends up backfiring as it gets intercepted. So that's a good example, I think, of how this Raiders defense was able to clamp down in the second half were by things like this. That kind of allowed them to, go up by as many as they did. All right, we got to talk about the 4th and 21. I mean, how do you give up a 4th and 21, right? Especially at the 22-yard line. The Raiders are in a full prevent defense here. And again, it's frustrating that they don't show the all 22 here because we can't break down exactly what happens. But we know this. The Raiders are in a zone coverage prevent defense. But watch how when Herbert takes the snap, I mean, you're just going to see a huge gap get open there. I mean, sometimes when these plays work, it's always why I've kind of liked, maybe more of like a cover 3 man, where you play man coverage and have 3 players deep who are protecting the first down marker. But the reality is, typically when these kind of things do work, it's like a small window that gets it through. There's a huge window, and you see like a couple of Las Vegas players who are nowhere close to anybody, which makes me think it's like, listen, For a team that plays a lot of zone coverage, you think they'd be better at some of this stuff. Really an inexcusable error here. As you see, it does end up getting complete for a touchdown. I mean, just a wild play. If they don't convert that, the game's basically over. So to keep the game alive, and then they go for 2, which is the correct decision. That one, I get it. It's a little bit complicated, and it's one of those weird things where it makes total sense in my head, but it's kind of hard to explain. But going for 2 there is the correct decision. I think if you play Madden, you probably are aware of that one. There was another just wild 4th down conversion. In fact, this would not be the last one, although, you know, the next one would be because of a penalty. But this final drive, I mean, just talk about drama going on. You're at your own 17-yard line, 4th down and 10. And this is one of those, like, I feel like the most stressful throw a quarterback can make is on a 4th down when you throw it short of the 1st down marker and you just have to trust your receiver can pick up the extra yards. But that's what I have to do here. Guys aren't winning on the outside. You know, they tried to throw it to Williams later on in this drive, but, like, he wasn't able to hold on. And that was actually the closest they got, really. So I get the logic behind it and everything. But look, I mean, Herbert is going to just, you know, eventually get to a read that works, throws it, just get the 1st down. I mean, just crazy. The fact that this is happening, that's just insane. I can't believe that that's happening. I couldn't believe this play when it happened. I mean, so I'm not going to break it down too much. It's man coverage, though, and one thing we talked about going into this game was, hey, if it's man coverage, find a halfback. And look at how when Herbert takes the snap right here, you're going to see, look at this play. It's wide open. I mean, this is, okay, are you going to win if you get this completion? Okay, who knows, right? Because you have to get the ball, you know, to the end zone. You would get it around the 30-ish yard line, but you also now have more time. You have, you know, at least to the 30-ish yard line. Who knows? Maybe Eckler makes a move in open space. We've seen him do that before. But I don't know what happened here. I don't know how they were off on this. And I think Eckler is expecting it to come to the inside, whereas Herbert's expecting it to be more towards the outside. I don't know whose fault it is, but that's just a brutal error. Look, it just sort of falls behind. I mean, that's just tough right there. The game tying play here would be just wild. So it's going to be just a straight up double team on Mike Williams right here. And it's kind of one of those things where, so I think sometimes these double teams actually make things a little bit more difficult to cover somebody, because when it's just, you know, one-on-one, you just do what you can to cover them. But when you know you have help deep, you might be kind of thinking like, okay, well, if I get beat deep, it's not the end of the world since I have help there. And look, as you see, I mean, the corner does turn his hips towards the outside because he knows he has help there, but this now leaves a small window where Herbert can make the play, which I don't know if it would have been available had there not been a double team, weirdly, although it's a really small window. That's the flip side, is Herbert has to put this one exactly on the money and throw a dime if he's going to get this one to overtime. And as you see, I mean, just a beautiful throw right there to make the catch, to get it to overtime. And yes, they kicked the field goal because analytics do not say one way or the other. Analytics say it's a toss-up. That's a fun fact of the day. If you're someone who doesn't fully understand analytics, that's cool. I recommend looking at the 4th down decision bot on Twitter. That's what I like to use. But yeah, anyways, interesting stuff there, getting this game to overtime. So yeah, I mean, just crazy game. Kyle and I were saying, hey, play for the tie at the end there. The Raiders kind of did. They were at least okay with a tie. End up ending the Chargers season in what was just one of the better games I've seen in quite some time. So yeah, that's what I thought about all this. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Raiders are in the postseason. Fun stuff. You know, let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.